Hi, welcome back to Scentuality. I'm making a video today. It's basically just a follow-on of the last video. In the last video, I went through 30 oils to enable you to make some sort of a perfume. I chose oils which covered a couple of different themes. I chose some oriental materials and I chose some fougere materials, and I chose a few things that didn't really have anything to do with either of those themes, just to help you make something in between, perhaps. But what I really want to say is, I could have just as easily have chose different oils. There are certainly more oriental materials than that. I did give you a good selection of fougere materials, but you could just as easily have included a myrrh or something like opopanax, or the point of it all was just basically to enable you to make some perfume, and it was just merely a suggestion. I just really wanted to demonstrate the conceptualness of making a perfume from that specific angle, where you think about what you're doing. So in terms of having awareness of which oils are blenders, which oils create diffusion, which oils are fixatives, and which oils are modifiers. That's basically what I just wanted to sort of emphasize, was just to help you conceive some sort of structure, just to get some kind of a picture in your head, so you could sort of understand a little bit more about formulating. However, really, what I really want to get across is that if you just sit and you blend the materials that you have, you will learn all of these things. You will learn which oils are diffusive just by smelling those notes in the perfume that you make. You will learn which oils are fixatives, which oils modify the theme of your perfume. And you don't really need me to tell you which oils are blenders, which oils are fixatives, which oils are diffusive, etc. You don't need that. You can find that out yourself just by a little bit of experimentation. And when you make a perfume and you smell it, you can tell what is the strongest note in that perfume. You can tell what's holding it together. You can tell what is jumping off the skin, what is radiating outwards, what is creating diffusion. You can tell all of that for yourself. All you need to do is just blend some materials together, and you will learn how to make perfume all by yourself. It's really that simple. It just comes down to sitting with some oils, blending them together, observing what happens, changing a few things around, just constantly altering the situation, and you will gain awareness of the oils that you have, and then you will learn exactly in what context you can use those oils. And that's really all you need to know. But in the spirit of the last video, I've decided just to carry on today with the theme of fixatives, with the theme of blenders, modifiers, and oils which create diffusion. And I just basically wanted just to mention a few more, because there's been some requests for that. So basically, you can't really go wrong if you use lots of aldehydes in your perfume. Aldehydes really create diffusion, but aldehydes are very pungent, very strong. It's something like aldehyde C18, it's coconut, but it's very oily. Or you've got aldehyde C16, which is strawberry, but it's a very synthetic smelling strawberry, and it's very sickly sweet, and you can just easily overdose that in a perfume. Just one drop sometimes is enough to kill your perfume. So you really have to be careful, because what you need to understand is, if you want to create diffusion in a perfume, and it seems to be the thing that many of you focus on, because you want I guess other people to smell your perfume while you're wearing it. Whatever you add to your perfume, whether it's to create diffusion, whether it's to it could be a blender, it could be a modifier, it could be a fixative, anything, any oil. What you're doing is you're altering the smell of your overall perfume. So you have to think about the kind of perfume that you want to make, and the aim is to create balance, and without balance, it's not really a very good perfume. So you really have to make perfume consciously with that in mind, because everything that you do will alter the smell of your overall perfume, and some things just won't blend together at all. So that's why it's very important to learn how to use the oils that you own, that you have in your possession, because you need to learn how to blend smells, because perfume is all about smell. And when you're making a perfume, you're blending lots of different smells together, and you're trying to create one cohesive smell. So you're trying to blend all of these smells together. So my advice would be not to focus on what creates diffusion, not to. I think it's a good thing to be aware of oils which are blenders, and especially modifiers, because if you want to make something like a violet perfume, but you want to make it greener, then you would go to some green molecules which are modifiers. That's good knowledge to have, because that lets you helps you to construct the exact theme that you want. That's important. But something like diffusion, I mean, I never make perfumes with diffusion in mind. I make perfumes just to appreciate the alchemy of the blending of all the different smells together to make that one cohesive smell. And that's really what I'm in it for. I'm in it for that smell. I'm not trying to sell my perfume, so I'm not thinking about diffusion. I guess it comes down to your motivations for making perfume, but I think diffusion should be the last thing that you're thinking about, because you should just be concentrating on how to use the oils that you have, how to blend them together. And then when you have that down and you know what to do with that, then you can start thinking about, well, how can I make this more diffusive? Because anything that you do to make your perfume more diffusive is going to alter the smell. So there's a trade-off with diffusion, or anything really. Whatever you're trying to do with your perfume, it's going to alter the smell. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, aldehydes really great. I believe aldehydes work best when you use less fixatives, and in particular when you don't use very much musk. I believe that aldehydes work better with regards to creating diffusion in this context. Other things, damascones, anything with linalool in it, basically. All of the synthetic musks, specifically cashmeran, that's a great one for creating diffusion. More blenders. Linalool is also a great blender. Terpenyl acetate is a great blender. It's very similar to linalool acetate. It's more tenacious. Petit grain, pimenta, saffron, sage dalmatian, neroli, methylanthranilate, nutmeg, palmarosa, mimosa, copaiba balsam, cumin, tarragon, cinnamon, cedar leaf, chamomile. These are all blenders. What I really wanted to make a perfume showing is that you can create diffusion in your perfume. So what I've done is I've used lots of oils which are diffusive, and I've used fewer fixatives, and yeah, I just basically want to share that with you. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So basically, theme of my perfume was just to create something which was ozonic. So that typical cologne based perfume. Cologne is a very popular molecule. Lots of male fragrances use a high amount of cologne. It's that that smell that reminds you of the ocean. It's very melon based, reminds you of the sea. Perfumers World have a base called seaweed fluorescence, and that's basically that. It's an accord. So if you want to give a marine note to your perfumes, that's the way to go. So that's basically what I wanted to do. So I just thought about a transparent perfume. I wanted it to have a little floral heart, nothing which really escaped the theme that I wanted to go for. So in this case I chose Alpha Damascone, but so basically what I wanted to do was just add a little bit of oak moss, add a little bit of cologne. I added a little bit of helionyl to the top just to carry the cologne a little bit further. Not that it needs to be carried very far, because it's a very diffusive oil, but basically that's what I did. I stuck to some masculine notes which complemented each other, and you know, it's very simple, it's nothing complicated. So just another example there, just to reinforce what I was saying in the last video, and in this case, you know, specifically talking about the use of aldehydes with less fixatives, and aldehydes create diffusion. So this is just something else to think about. But just remember that when you are doing these things, you are always altering the overall smell of your perfume. So, you know, be very conscious of what you're doing in terms of oils which you use to create diffusion. Lots of these oils are very volatile, they're very strong, and you know, they will take over your perfume. So just be very conscious of that when you're making perfume.